Hi friends, welcome to my channel. So this is related to Hadoop concepts. So I have just gone through this information source, the tutorial point. So I've just made few notes regarding Hadoop. So I will just go through these points. The first point is like kinds of data. So there are majorly. So I'm just talking about entirely on data engineering aspect. So there will be three kinds of data. One is structured data, other is semi-structured data, other is unstructured data. So they mostly there are three kinds of data. And coming to the second point, this Hadoop. I mean, before going on to this Hadoop, so I will just give a brief description like what exactly is Hadoop. So I mean, it is basically used for distributed storage and distributed computing. So when you have a large data and you want to process it distributedly, so in that particular scenario, this Hadoop will plays a crucial role. So yeah, I'm just going to the second point. Hadoop runs applications using MapReduce algorithm. So the internally it uses MapReducing algorithm, and yeah, Hadoop is an Apache open source framework written in Java. It allows distributed processing of large data sets across clusters of computers using simple programming models. And the Hadoop framework application works in an environment that provides distributed storage and computation across clusters of computers. So this is entirely the notes which I've written from this specific information source to the points. You can also go through this source and just wanted to explain this notes. That's the reason I'm just making this video. So coming to the Hadoop architecture, we have HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, that is a storage layer, and MapReduce, that's a processing and computation layer that would be done in a distributed fashion. And also a YAN. YAN full form is like yet another resource negotiator. That's a framework for job scheduling and cluster resource management. And it also has some common utilities. So these are the Java libraries and utilities required by other Hadoop models. Coming to environment setup, so we have to install a Linux operating system for setting up a Hadoop environment. For pre-installation setup, we have to create a user in order to isolate Hadoop file system from Unix file system. We have to do SSH setup and key generation, install in Java. So Java is the main prerequisite for Hadoop. Then you have to downloading Hadoop. That's one of the pre-installation setup. Then coming to Hadoop operation modes, we have local and standalone mode, sudo distributed mode, and we have these files which are very common for Hadoop, like core site XML, HDFS site XML, YAM site. These are the XML files, and so basically there are three operation modes. One is the local and standalone mode, sudo distributed mode, and fully distributed mode. And coming to after you have installed, how do you verify the Hadoop installation? Step one, name node setup. Step two, verifying Hadoop distributed file system. Then verifying YAML script. Then accessing Hadoop on browser. Then verifying all applications per cluster. So coming to Hadoop HDFS, that's the storage layer of this framework. So HDFS is highly fault tolerant and designed using low cost hardware. HDFS also makes applications available to parallel processing. Features of HDFS. So it is suitable for distributed storage and processing. Hadoop provides a command interface to interact with HDFS. So the built-in servers of main node and data node help users to easily check the status of cluster, streaming access to file system data. HDFS provides file permissions and authentication. HDFS architecture. So basically these are the main components in the HDFS. Main node, data node, block. The minimum amount of data that HDFS can read and write is called a block. The default block size is 64 MB, but it can be increased. So goals of this HDFS: fault detection and recovery, huge data sets, hardware data, HDFS operations starting with. So these are the operations like starting HDFS, listing files in HDFS, inserting data into HDFS, retrieving data from HDFS, shutting down the HDFS. So now coming to the second part of the Hadoop framework, that is MapReduce. MapReduce is a processing technique and a program model for distributed computing based on Java. Under the MapReduce model, the data processing primitives are called mappers and reducers. The algorithm. So in this specific algorithm, we have map stage, reduce stage. Reducer, it is a combination of shuffle stage and reduce stage. So during a map reduce job, Hadoop sends the map and reduce task to appropriate servers in the cluster. So after the completion of given task, the cluster collects and reduces the data to form an appropriate result and sends it back to Hadoop server. So this is entirely I have written notes from this specific information source, that is crudelpoint.com/Hadoop. So I'm just writing this micro note so that it would be useful. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.